Hi everyone, it's Lavinia. Welcome to my channel and to today's video where I thought I would take you along as I create an art journal page. And this is for the collab that was hosted by Polly's Pretties Coloring and Crafting, and it's the hashtag Polly's Fairy Core. And this was actually for the month of February. She had 28 prompts. I am at prompt number 12, which is foxes. Even though we're in March, I'm going to continue on with this particular collab because I'm enjoying it so much. I am making it in this small little sketchbook, and I'll do a flip through once I'm done. But I thought I would take you along on maybe my creative process in making this particular page. So what I have is an old book page where I laid down some white gesso. So this is already dry. So I just take I'm using this particular book either as my glue book or my pages that I use for my journals. And I just laid down gesso and let it dry so that I have those pages ready to go. Otherwise you have to wait for it to dry. So for today's prompt, foxes, I cut out this little tag and I used this corner rounder just to round out the punches. This was from the Park Lane tags collection. So it's the first one that I'm using. And I already bent this or folded this page in half because in the little booklet, the journal that I have, it doesn't all fit. So this is going to eventually, when it's in the book, in the journal, it will be bent a little bit. So I just kind of marked here where the page number is. That's where I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. But before I do that, I have some of my double-ended watercolor brush pens, which I'm going to use for the background. And I have here my water brush. And I thought I would try out this Liquitex modeling paste. I've used this before. I've had this for quite some time. So we'll see how this works out with the template. Because I thought that I would put this here. And then it has this little, so it says friendship makes life more beautiful. And then here at the bottom, it says collect beautiful moments. So I thought that was nice. It has this fox here, this little hedgehog. And so I thought I would put this here in this corner. And then this template has a fox and it also has a hedgehog. So I thought that maybe I might be able to, not really sure, if I could fit, maybe I could do it this way, the hedgehog here, and maybe also the fox here looking up. So I think those should both fit, and I thought that would complement this little tag here. So I have my water brush pen. You can use any pen that you like if you're, if you want to follow along. I have also a crafting knife, like a palette knife that I'm going to use to put down the Liquitex. So it would be the first time that I'm trying this modeling paste with this particular lighter template. Usually I use it on a metal template, so we'll see how it works out. But for the background right now, I think I'm just going to, maybe I will pick a color here. Maybe I'll use these, and one side is a brush nib and the other one is a bullet point. So this is, for example, the bullet point, and this is the thicker brush nib. So I'm going to use that. And this one here is like an orange. And then I just want to come in with the water. So I have a pot of water here. And I'm just going to mix that together, blend that together. And the gesso allows that to dissolve pretty quickly and not seep through the other side. This particular page has gesso on both sides. Normally I just have it on one side of the paper. I also have my watercolor rag here. And that rag I use only for watercolor. I don't put acrylics or anything like that because sometimes I do throw that in the wash. And not necessarily the dryer, but I don't want anything that has acrylics or oils. I don't really work with oils anymore into the washing machine or the dryer to not cause a fire or anything like that. So watercolors is fine. And let's see, maybe... I'm just trying to pick a color here. Yeah, I'll put this purple. Now purple and yellow are complementary, so when you mix them together, they actually give you a brown. If it's in the right proportions, naturally. This is going to be covered up more or less with that tag, but I am going to still put this on here. It's actually making a nice pretty gray. And so you can see where the gesso is, it really dissolves. Where it's just paper, unless you get there rapidly, you will see those streak marks or those line marks from the pen or from the marker. And maybe I'll put in, this looks like a bluish gray, so I think maybe I'll try this one. Oh, it looks like a bluish gray on the cap, but it actually comes out to a nice little turquoisey color almost. I like that little bloom right there. It's probably like a little water spot, but that's going to get covered anyway. But let's say I wanted more of that, I could probably just, once it starts to dry, just dab a little bit of water and that'll probably bloom. Yep, like right there. Do you see that? Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and let this dry for a bit because I do want it dry before I start putting down the glue. So I will pause the video and come back. And if something doesn't dry quick enough for you, you can always use a heat tool or a hair dryer. We're lucky that well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but we live in an arid climate, so I guess in a good way, usually things dry up quickly, but in another way, having the air too dry is not good either. There's a lot of static electricity, especially during the winter. All right, so I use the heat tool to help speed up the drying. And so here's those little blooms that you see. Some people, especially when they're doing paintings, they don't like blooms. This on an abstract, I don't mind it. And originally I had it this way, but I really like that one. So I think I'm going to flip it around and glue it here. So I still have these blooms down here that you can see probably, I think so. And then this one here. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue this down. And I think I'm just gonna use my regular Elmer's glue for it. Just gonna take this book. And again, this is just what I use most of the time as my glue book area to have it go beyond that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and place that down. Right there. And let's go ahead and try, let's try the template with the modeling paste and see how that works. So if I were to put this little fox here, see if that would fit. This little tail may get chopped off, but that's okay. But actually, if it goes over, that should still be okay. All right, let me just close this. This modeling paste has dried up quite a bit, so I'm not sure how well it's going to work. Yeah, it's pretty dry. Let me see. It's so dry that I may end up using my finger, so let's take a look and see. So I'm just going over those areas. And we'll see how well it works. And I've used this modeling paste over the years several times, so I'll see if I can maybe add a little bit of water to it and, you know, once I'm done here, and see if that will help it along a little bit, but otherwise I'll probably eventually buy some more paste. And then when this is dry, you can always paint over it. But let's go ahead and take this off. Okay, so it just gives it a little bit of texture, and then once it's dry, you can always paint over it. So that's what it's looking like right now. And you know, I'll wash that off, but let's see. I probably should have done the hedgehog first, because this is going to be in the way unless I put the owl here. But I really do want to use the hedgehog. All right, let me see if I can dry this with my heat tool, and I'll be right back. Okay, I tried it just a little bit with the heat tool, and I added some water in here, so we'll see how this works. But I think what I'm going to do is maybe I will just put this on top of here, just so I don't smudge it, just in case. Okay, and then I should be able to put the little porcupine right there. All right, let's see how this works. I know Polly has her next open collab, and I know one of the prompts I think was like grunge or get dirty, and I was like, oh, I should incorporate this as part of that. But let's see. So I'm using the tool here. This might be a little bit too wet, but I think I'm just going to use my fingers. And again, I probably should have put the water after I was done with this. But you know what, folks? Learn from me and my mistakes. That's like a big chunk of paste there. But play with your inner child. This might be too chunky too. I'll take that out. All right, folks, well, let's see what it looks like. Okay, actually, it's not bad. When it dries, it'll be fine. And then I'm going to paint over it. So let me just go ahead and wash my hands. Okay, so not totally dry, but should work because I'm going to use these watercolor brush pens on here anyway. So I took a strip of paper and I started to pick out some colors. And I think for the fox, I'm going to use this orangey color for, you know, for the back, and then this grayish tone, almost white, for the belly. So that'll be for the fox. And then for the porcupine, I chose this darker brown right here. And I think I'm going to use this color. So actually, let me put it together and see what it looks like. And that'll be for the porcupine's belly. So let's get started. I think I'll start with, let's start with the fox first, see how it works. This isn't a brush pen, like a true brush pen, but let's take a look and see how it will work out. I think I'm just going to try tapping it on here and see. All right, let's see if it works. Oh, it does. Nice. Very nice. And a little goes a long way. So let me bring that up close. So you can see that's dissolving really nice. Oh, I'm very happy with this. So this will probably be where he'll have a lighter tone. So let me just dab a little bit more here on the back leg. Oh, I'm really happy with this. Sometimes you have to experiment. Okay, now let's try that lighter tone. I was going to use, yes, this bluish gray. Oh, and that little bloom is right there by its ear. Okay, so that's working out well too. Fun. Definitely have to use this technique more in the future. And then I can always put its little eye and nose. Let's see. I have black here. Is this black or it looks like blue? Although I may want to wait until that's really, well, it wasn't bleeding before, so. I'm going to use that finer tip to put in the nose here. And maybe the eye right here. Oh, very cute. All right, so now for the porcupine, I was going to use this darker brown. And again, I'm using the brush nib or that felt nib. And let's go ahead and put this on. And after it's dissolved, I may come back and put these strokes like this, just again to show that the quills. Try not to make this video be too long, but I do want to show you the process and how it turns out. Yep, like I said, I'm really happy with this technique, especially that I can use these brush pens right here on top of the modeling paste. Very cool. All right, and then the lighter color, which one was it? Oh, here it is. I do want to wait for this to dry before I put its eyes, just so that it doesn't dissolve. So let me get my heat tool and I'll be back. Okay, so let's see if I can just add maybe its little nose here. Not exactly sure where its eye goes, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it there. I'll fix this little eye here. I think they came out really cute. And so now I'm going to fold this in half and glue it into the booklet. Just testing to see that it's dry. I also wanted to show you that I had rinsed off the template. This one rinsed off, I mean, they both rinsed off really well, but I do recommend that as soon as you use it and are finished with it, go ahead and rinse it off. Okay, so I have my scoring tool here, and I'm going to, so here's where that bend was, so I'm just going to go ahead and just bend that there. And here we are. And where's my little journal page? Here it is. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this in here. So let me get this glue. Probably definitely more than I need, but always add more. And I personally, I just like to fold it so that I know that hopefully it won't, you know, then pop up, but I'm just going to do that and use this bone folder to help it along. Okay, and then I'm just making sure that it's glued down here. And I have liquid glue. I can always come back, if anything, to put a little bit further glue down, but it seems to be okay. I'm going to put a little bit more of the liquid glue here, actually. But that's it. I'm going to, usually if the pages are long, then I just fold it over like this and I just come by and trim it. Pretty much just like that. And then I'll just come here and do a little bit of a better trimming. Okay, I could always do that off camera, but that's it, I think, for this page. Again, I don't want this video to be too long, but I may use my word punch or maybe some stamps and maybe just put foxes or something like that, maybe down here. But again, this is the page, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you give it a try. Again, this is the Liquitex modeling paste. I put some more water, so we'll definitely be using that. These were the Statdler double-ended watercolor brush pens. I either got them at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, not sure. This was the pad from Joann's, so the Park Lane pad. But I really like this page as well. I may still go over it with maybe something to just darken it and separate that, but I don't know if you can really see that on camera, but you know, I do see the texture here in person. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. Actually, let me see what my next prompt is going to be. Is a map. So, okay. I think I have some ephemera pieces that have maps. So I'll think of something with that. But again, thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.